गिरिवरधारी गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरा वनचारि यमुनतीरा वनचारि हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sumedha, for that ecstatic kirtan and always supporting me. I really appreciate your help. So, Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to this Friday class. So, we have been doing a Chaitanya Charitamrita. We selected a number of pastimes, and I've been doing this for from the beginning of this year. In last class and today's class, our focus was that the instructions of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. So today we had part 1 in the previous class, and today we will do the part 2. So thank you very much for joining. We have our Rajkumar Govinda Prabhu, Anil Singh Prabhu, Jashu Bahan Mataji, Saumya, Sumed, and Vandana, and anyone else watching on YouTube. So let's begin with invocation, and then we will discuss some of the very important lessons. Mahaprabhu elaborates quite a lot, but I will just, we will just take the essence of that. Very wonderful chapter, very, very wonderful chapter. So let's begin with invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshorunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So it is said in the Caitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author, says in the beginning of every chapter, he glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that even a person from a very illiterate background can become a great person just by getting the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us humbly, graciously aspire and seek the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How do we get Mahaprabhu's mercy? By getting the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. When Nityananda Mahaprabhu is pleased with us, we will get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. How do we please Nityananda? By pleasing Prabhupada. Nityananda, he is Guru Tattva. So all gurus, he represents all gurus. So by pleasing Prabhupada, we will please Nityananda. By pleasing Nityananda, we please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us endeavor to please Srila Prabhupada. That way we can get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the last class, we discussed the escape of Sanatana Goswami. We discussed these three brothers, namely Sanatana, Rupa, and Anupama. They were three brothers. They were born in very cultured family. They are Karnataka Brahmins, from Saraswati Brahmins from Karnataka. They were very talented, multi-skilled. So that's why the king of Bengal, Nawab Hussain Shah, ordered them to work for him in his government. So both Rupa and Sanatan, they worked in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah and helped him. And we learned in the last class that how Rupa Goswami and Anupama, they left and they met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they had distributed, Rupa Goswami had distributed his wealth, and he had boat full of gold coins when he retired, and he gave 50% of that to the Vaishnavas and devotees, and then 25% he gave it to the family members, and 25% he kept with a grocer, local grocer, a banker, for emergency purposes. So what Rupa Goswami advised, Sanatana Goswami could not retire at the same time as Rupa Goswami, because Nawab, the king of the Bengal, wouldn't allow. So he was heavily depending on Sanatana Goswami, who was the chief minister. However, Sanatana Goswami, he simply said that he was sick and he was ill, and then stayed at home reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Imagine that you just put a sick leave and sit at home and read Srimad Bhagavatam. This is what Sanatana Goswami was doing. But later on, when king found he was okay, then he took him and he imprisoned him, and then the king went to conquer Orissa. But however, Sanatana Goswami bribed the gatekeeper, and he gave him 7,000 gold coins, and then he escaped from the prison house. And it was a difficult journey, very, very difficult journey, but he took that journey because he had such a longing to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was an extremely difficult journey. His life was in danger, but he took that. And he went to Varanasi, the Banaras or Kashi, and there Sanatana Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased and extremely pleased to see him. We read a few verses how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually pleased with him, and he was embraced. He embraced Sanatana Goswami, and when he embraced Sanatana Goswami, he was getting the ecstatic symptoms. Mahaprabhu was going into ecstasy. Just imagine, the Lord when he embraces his devotees, and he was, cleansing the body, touching the body of Sanatana Goswami and saying that just by touching you, I'm purifying Sanatana Goswami because you are such a great devotee. And he glorifies, like, the business of the eyes is to actually take darshan of a devotee. The business of the tongue is to glorify a pure devotee. The business of the ears is actually hear about a devotee, like that. So the touch, the touch sensation should be engaged in and nicely, just gently touching the devotees. And also the business of the head is actually bow down to the lotus feet of the devotees, and he glorified. Those are some of the very, very beautiful verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Mahaprabhu glorifies Sanatana Goswami. We know from that discussion that how great, how dear the devotee must be to the Lord. That is the greatest wealth one can get. When we open and read these scriptures, we will understand that. Otherwise, we just get carried away with our day-to-day business. It's easy. We forget this, but these scriptures are there are wealth. They are like astrologer. Sometimes you go to astrologer to find out, where your wealth is, how you can get the wealth, and things like that. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also describes in this chapter, they are like an astrologer. They will tell you how to get the wealth. So, becoming devotee is not easy, not easy, not simple. Once one devotee said that after preaching tens of years, if I can make one devotee, my life would be successful. After preaching 10 to 15 years, and devotees asked, and he said, who that one devotee, that's myself. By preaching to others, after 10 years or so, if I can make myself a devotee, my life will be successful. So it's not that easy to actually become a good devotee of the Lord. When we read, it actually helps us. When we talk about the Lord, it helps us, it purifies us. Devotee is such an important thing. That's why even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came as a devotee. So devotees are very, very dear to the Lord. So after that, a nice exchange, loving exchange between Sanatana Goswami and Mahaprabhu, then Sanatana Goswami said, my Lord, I'm going to inquire from you a few things, if you allow me to do so. In the past, I know that, previously you have inquired from Ramananda Rai, and Ramananda Rai spoke. Similarly, now I'm going to inquire from you. So there were so much information, but I will only touch base, the essence, only some of it today. And saying that Sanatana Goswami began speaking and asking some questions to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu answers them. Let's read a little bit from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we will discuss. Let me see, just one second. Hare Krishna. Okay. There you go. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. So we will be reading from text 94 onwards. So it's quite a big chapter. We'll not be able to finish, but we will take some of the lessons from here. Could I ask, humbly request a devotee start reading from 94, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you are always very enthusiastic. Go ahead, Anil Prabhu.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Text 94. Being pleased with Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his causeless mercy upon him. By the Lord's mercy, Sanatana Goswami received the spiritual strength to inquire from him. Formerly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked Ramananda Raya spiritual questions, and by the Lord's causeless mercy, Ramananda Raya could properly reply. Now, by the Lord's mercy, Sanatana Goswami questioned the Lord, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally supplied the truth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, personally told Sanatana Goswami about Lord Krishna's real identity. He also told him about the Lord's conjugal love, his personal opulence, and the mellows of devotional service. All these truths were explained to Sanatana Goswami by the Lord himself out of his causeless mercy. Putting a straw in his mouth and bowing down, Sanatana Goswami clasped the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and humbly spoke as follows. Sanatana Goswami said, I was born in a low family, and my associates are all low class men. I myself am fallen, and am the lowest of men. Indeed, I have passed my whole life fallen in the well of sinful materialism. I do not know what is beneficial for me or what is detrimental. Nonetheless, in ordinary dealings, people consider me a learned scholar, and I am also thinking of myself as such. Out of your causeless mercy, you have delivered me from the materialistic path. Now, by the same causeless mercy, please tell me what my duty is. Who am I? Why do the threefold miseries always give me trouble? If I do not know this, how can I be benefited? Actually, I do not know how to inquire about the goal of life and the process for obtaining it. Being merciful upon me, please explain all these truths. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Lord Krishna has bestowed his full mercy upon you so that all these things are known to you. For you, the threefold miseries certainly do not exist. Since you possess Lord Krishna's potency, you certainly know these things. However, it is the nature of the sadhu to inquire. Although he knows these things, the sadhu inquires for the sake of strictness. Those who are eager to awaken their spiritual consciousness and who thus have unflinching, undeviated intelligence certainly attain the desired goal of life very soon. You are fit to propagate the cult of devotional service. Therefore, gradually hear all the truths about it from me. I shall tell you about them. It is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. Like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire, Krishna has three varieties of energy. Just as the illumination of a fire, which is situated in one place, is spread all over, the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Param Brahman, are spread all over this universe.
Thank you, Prabhu. So it is a philosophical discussion, but I'll make it very, very simple. So the first question is, he humbly submitted himself to the Lord. This is a symptom of a devotee, humility. And it is said here, a sadhu, although he knows, he inquires. Although we know, but if we hear the same message from a realized person, then it will really penetrate our heart and will make a transformation in us. So that's why, even though they know they will always ask, they will inquire from the higher authority. And when others speak, we should listen. Always, because although we know the truth, but when others speak, we listen, it will have a different impact. And here Sanatana Goswami says that I don't know. People call me that I'm a professor, I'm a learned person, but I don't know who am I. And I don't know what is beneficial, what is detrimental to me. And this is a real point. Like, people don't know, although people can, no problem, they can be educated to a very high level, but they don't know who they are. Recently, we had Mukta Vandya Prabhu visiting us from Boston, ISKCON Boston, and he gave a lecture that he was mentioning that he had been to Oxbridge and speaking to some of the professors there. And these professors he was mentioning, they were very highly educated. But when he asked, who are you? And they can't, he was mentioning that. Not everybody is like that, but he was mentioning that that he claims that they don't know the truth, that they are the eternal servant of the Lord. They are a spirit soul. So, although, externally people may say that, someone is learned, but that person may not know who that person really is, his identity is. First question is, do that person know, does he knows the real truth about his identity? And does he know what is beneficial, what is detrimental? And he also mentioned, because I was associated with the materialistic people, although I was born in a very high-class family, so my consciousness is completely polluted. And so Mahaprabhu says this, famous verse. It is repeatedly quoted. So two questions, basically, 2 or 3 questions here. One is, who am I? Like that. So if we go 102, who am I? That's the first question. And why do I suffer? This is the second question. Why do threefold miseries always give me trouble? So why do I suffer? So the goal of life and how to obtain it. These are the questions. Who am I? And why do I suffer? And what is the goal of life and how to obtain it? Very relevant questions, very relevant questions for all of us. And Mahaprabhu begins this, giving this famous verse. Prabhupada quotes very often. So the answer, he begins the answer from 108 onwards. Jivera swarupahaya Krishnera nitya dasa Krishnera tatastha shakti bheda prakasha Suryamsha kiranayaiche Agni jwala chaya Swabhavika Krishnera tina Prakara shakti haya. So he says, Jivera swarupahaya Krishnera nitya das, the identity of the living entities, that is the eternal servant of Lord Krishna. And he belongs to the marginal energy of Krishna. And he is simultaneously one with Krishna and at the same time different. And he gives an analogy of this, the particles of sun rays, and the sun. So they are neither same nor different. Like that, we are also we also belong to Krishna like that. And then, So the suffering is that we are suffering because we have forgotten. We are forgotten Krishna, because we've been affected by the external energy, which is called Maya. We forget. When we forget, or when we forgetful of Krishna, then we undergo misery. So that is the point. Forgetful of Krishna leads to misery. And when we forget Krishna, one becomes, one acts as a competitor for Krishna. So I want to compete with Krishna. I'm the Lord. So to nullify this nature, so why do we suffer? Suffering is because of forgetful of Krishna. The forgetful of Krishna is due to being influenced by the illusory energy of the Lord. And to correct this behavior, one must take to devotional service. This is the remedy. The remedial measure is given. And how can he take to the devotional service? By following the instruction of sadhu. Without sadhu, saintly person will not be able to take to devotional service. And then, Mahaprabhu gives 3 processes: Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. Sambandha is what is our relationship with Krishna, that we are his eternal servant. That is the Sambandha, part and parcel of Krishna. Abhideya, what is the process? Then we can achieve the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is attaining the love of Godhead. Okay, so Sambandha is the relationship. Abhideya is the process by which one can get the ultimate goal. The Prayojana is the ultimate goal, that is love of Godhead. So we know that we are servant of Krishna, that is our Sambandha. And the ultimate goal is to get love of Godhead. And how do we get this? By the devotional process, that is Prayojana. So there are a number of processes. Mahaprabhu describes there are so many processes: karma, jnana, yoga. But none of these will give you the ultimate goal of life. The ultimate goal of life is to attain the love of Godhead. Yesterday, Sumed and I were discussing. So Sumed was mentioning this one very beautiful point. In other processes, by following other processes, jnana, karma, yoga, the maximum that they can attain is liberation. Liberation means just merging into the existence of the Lord in the Brahma Jyoti. That is the maximum by following other processes. They are very expert in mystic yoga, very expert in reading scriptures, very expert in performing so many karma, so many activities, karma process. So with all these practices, maximum, they can only get liberation. Liberation is you lose your identity, you merge into that Brahma. Whereas with bhakti process, the minimum that you can attain is liberation. Minimum. In other processes, that is the maximum. The minimum, just by doing devotional service little bit, the minimum one can attain is the liberation. The maximum is love of Godhead. So there are a number of processes. Prabhupada used to give an analogy. Although we have 9 holes in the body, yes, if we want to keep the food and we have to choose only one hole, that is mouth, then every part of the body gets nourished. Similarly, Prabhupada used to give this analogy, although we have several processes, but if you want to really get the love of Godhead, that is only by bhakti process. So we will read a couple of verses and then we'll move into a pastime. I'll take you a different chapter and we will understand. This is like a theory, and then we will see in the practical life. So let's see. (135) onwards, maybe a few verses. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, 136 and 137 and 138.
Should I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
However, if you dig up a small quantity of dirt on the eastern side, your hands will immediately touch the pot of treasure. Did you say 135, yes?
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The revealed scriptures conclude that one should give up fruitive activity, speculative knowledge, and the mystic yoga system, and instead take to devotional service by which Krishna can be fully satisfied. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, said, "My dear Uddhava, neither through Ashtanga Yoga, the mystic yoga system to control the senses, nor through impersonal monism or an analytical study of the absolute truth, nor through study of the Vedas, nor through austerities, charity, or acceptance of sannyas can one satisfy me as much as by developing unalloyed devotional service unto me. Being very dear to the devotees and sadhus, I am attained through unflinching faith and devotional service. This bhakti yoga system, which gradually increases attachment for me, purifies even a human being born among dog eaters. That is to say, everyone can be elevated to the spiritual platform by the process of bhakti yoga."
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Thank you. And so here in 36, Mahaprabhu says that although different systems, but only bhakti pleases Krishna. Krishna can be fully satisfied by bhakti. And this 137 is a very famous verse. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Uttau. So this is part of the Uttau Gita. So the instruction that are given to Uddhav by Lord Krishna. And here you can see that, Lord Krishna says, neither through Ashtanga Yoga, nor through impersonal monism, that is jnana process, or any analytical study, nor through just simply by studying Vedas, by undergoing only austerities or giving charity, acceptance of sannyas, they will not be able to, Krishna won't be satisfied as much as he's satisfied by developing unalloyed devotional service. He says, Yatha Bhaktir Mamorchita. So Krishna is really pleased by the devotional service. And with this devotional service only, one can attain the prayojana, the ultimate goal is love of Godhead. So that is the essence. And Mahaprabhu says that one develops this bhakti, automatically the threefold miseries will not affect him. And now I would like to take example how Krishna glorifies this devotional service. So we'll now move on to the pastime of Amrit Maharaj. Very beautiful pastime. Comes in the 9th canto, 4th chapter and 5th chapter. Very, very beautiful indeed. So many wonderful instructions. So we all know that Amrit Maharaj, he was observing Ekadashi fast for all 1 year in living in Vrindavan. So after 1 year observance of Ekadashi, on the next day, Dwadasi day, he wanted to break his fast. Parayana time. There is a particular time within that you have to break. So he was about to break his fast. That time, Durwasamuni appeared on the scene. So it's the duty of an householder to respect the saintly people. And so he welcomed Durwasamuni, and then he said, "My dear king, please, come for prasad." So Durwasamuni said, "No, I have to go and perform my noontime, something like some morning duties. I have to chant, I'll take bath and chant Gayatri. I'll take bath in the Yamuna and come back." So he went to Yamuna, and so he was taking long. He was fully absorbed in the meditation. He didn't come. So in the meantime, king realized the time to break the fast is gone, is going away, is disappearing slowly. So then he decided to take a drop of water, and after consulting the brahmanas, so taking drop of water is like eating at the same time not eating. So he took only drop of water, not to satisfy the senses, but to follow the system set forth by Krishna. So we know that. So eventually, Durwasamuni comes there, and he, with his mystic potency, he came to know that the king had taken a drop of water without offering the food first to Durvasa. So then he chastised king like anything, and then he created a fiery demon from his hair, and this fiery demon, started rushing towards the king. And king, however, was up high. He was fearless, because he knew that he had, unflinching faith, just like Prahlad Maharaj. He had unflinching faith on the Lord. So king didn't get disturbed at all. He just stood there. Sudarshan disk came and started chasing this Durvasa. So he fled. Durvasa fled, and wherever he went, he started hiding in the caves, here, ocean, everywhere. Wherever he went, Sudarshan disk was following him. So then he went to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma said, "I'm sorry, I can't save you. You go and see Lord Shiva." Then he went to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva said, "No one can save you from the Sudarshan disk. You must go and see Lord Vishnu." And then he goes to Lord Vishnu. And what did Lord Vishnu say? And those are some of the beautiful verses we will read. You will really like these verses. They will really enlighten you. So let's read these verses. What did Lord Vishnu speak to Durwasamuni? What did he say? So you have to really hear, and I'm sure you thoroughly enjoy. Okay. Right. So from 63 onwards, so someone can read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, shall I read?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of God. Till where you want me to read?
I'll stop you where it is required. Please carry on.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahmana, I am I'm completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I'm not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the cores of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotee of my devotee are very dear to me.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mataji. Let's explain this. This is a very beautiful verse. So Durvasa went and offered prostrated obeisances to Lord Vishnu and begged him to save him from the wrath of Sudarshan Disk. And this is what Lord Vishnu said: I'm completely under the control of my devotees. Aham bhakta paradhina. I'm controlled by my devotees. My devotees control me. Although I control everything, but they control me. So just like Mother Yashoda could tie him up. So, and he says, indeed, I'm not at all independent. Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse. Janmadyasya yataha. It says that Swarat, Krishna is Swarat, independent. But here, here he says that it is easy, is not at all independent. The first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says that he is independent. But here it says it is not, he is not independent. He is dependent on his devotees. My devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit only within the core of their hearts. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. So Prabhupada used to give this analogy like, if you love me, love my dog. So just by loving one's dog, you will automatically love that person. When you come my home, if you just say, oh, Bhakti, how nice you are, and then I am automatically pleased. So here Krishna says, what to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotees are very dear. So just imagine how much, how much Krishna loves Prabhupada. Just see this, that through from this verse. Just by becoming devotees of Prabhupada, servants of Prabhupada, we will be automatically loved by Krishna. Okay, let's move on. Mataji, next one, 64.
O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences.
Please go on.
Since pure devotees give up their homes, wives, children, relatives, riches, and even their lives simply to serve me, without any desire for material improvement in this life or in the next, how can I give up such devotee at any time? Wow. A chaste woman brings their gentle husband under control by service. The pure devotees who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of the heart bring me under their full control.
Thank you, Mataji. So let's, this is a very beautiful verse. So here a nice analogy is given. A gentle and chaste lady brings a gentle husband under control by rendering service, regular service. So she brings her husband under control. Similarly, pure devotees of the Lord bring the Lord under control by their service. So that's why this service is very, very important. When one does service, Krishna really likes you. So you become a very intimate person in Krishna's family by doing this service. So let's read a couple of more verses and then we'll stop. 67.
You want me to continue?
Yes, please. Yeah, continue.
My devotees, who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, are not interested even in the 4 principles of liberation: Shalokya, Swarup, Samipya, and Srashti. Although these are automatically achieved by the service, what then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I'm always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything else but them.
Thank you, Mataji. So here's Krishna, glorifies the devotee, and then after glorifying devotee, he tells this person, Durvasa, to actually that I am under my devotee control, so I have no independence. If you have offended my devotee, then you must go and seek forgiveness, beg forgiveness from him. I can't do anything really. I can't, because I'm under their control. I have no independence. So go and beg forgiveness, pardon from my devotee. And then Durvasa went back to the king, Ambarish, and he begged forgiveness from him, and they had prasadam together. So just to sum up, Sanatan Goswami asked the questions. There were a few questions. One was that, who am I? What is my real identity? Why do I suffer? And what is the goal of life? How to attain it? So the answer Mahaprabhu gave that you are the eternal servant of Lord Krishna. You are suffering because you have forgotten Krishna. You have forgotten Krishna because of being influenced by Maya. You have forgotten. You are suffering because of your forgetful of Krishna. So, and the ultimate goal of life is to attain love of Godhead. That is prema bhakti. And the process is devotional service. Only through the devotional, only by means of devotion, one can attain the ultimate goal of love of Godhead. The other processes, whereas like karma, jnana, and yoga, austerities, etc., will not satisfy the Lord. But Lord is only satisfied by the devotional service, and we have seen that in the pastime of Amrish Maharaj, how Lord Vishnu says that he is not independent, he is fully under his devotees' control. What to speak of his devotee, but his devotees are very dear to him. And devotees, by doing service, they bring the Lord under control. And saying that Lord Vishnu sends him back to King Ambarish to beg pardon. So that's the end of today's class. The main point is, if you want to take a lesson, that devotional service really pleases Krishna, and devotees are very dear to Krishna. So we should somehow or other engage in the service of the Lord. Always we should think, how can I serve Srila Prabhupada? Every single day, how can I please Srila Prabhupada? Just by asking those couple of questions, and we can perfect our life. So let us all engage in the service of Prabhupada and perfect our life, because as Bhakti Charu Swami said, that we have given so many lives to Maya. Let's give this one life to Krishna. We have given so many lives to Maya, so many lives, and we don't want to give again this life to Maya as well, but we give this one life to Krishna, and we can perfect our life. I'll stop there. So if anybody has any realizations or any thoughts, any comments, please let me know.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Anil Prabhu, Jai Ho.
Yeah, the similar kind of instructions in the Brahma Samhita, when Krishna, after prayers of Brahma, Krishna spoke 5 verses, the same ones. Achyuttama Bhakti will be attained only through the devotional service. So the same instructions still given to Brahma as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Like, just like, now the same instructions are given in Amrit Maharaj Pastime as well, isn't it? Mahaprabhu repeats them here. Yes, so time and again, the same message comes. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Anything else from anyone? Mother Radhika Mataji, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, so I haven't got many announcements, just Sunday class will be there. So please come and take the Association of Devotees and kindly engage in some sort of service. Service, when you do service, you become part of the family. Just please remember that you become very, very close to Prabhupada. You become very close to Krishna, Lord Krishna. So please take up some responsibilities, some service. Come to temple, associate with the devotees. Thank you. Yes, so nice. Yeah, so with other processes, the maximum one can get to liberation. One can obtain his liberation. In the devotional service, the devotee, even a devotee who doesn't know anything, just by engaging devotional service, minimum he can get his liberation. Okay, so thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anything else from anyone? Hare Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Meena Jatani Mataji, Hari Bol.